So just a short session today. There's 3 poses. One we're going to do left and right, so for asana. Just a little meridian channel hack really. First pose directly into the lower body meridian lines, second pose directly into the upper body meridian lines, third pose left and right. We are balancing out all 12. Maybe debatable in some people's eyes about that, but the way I see it, we're getting into all 12 meridian channels through that last pose. And the parasympathetic nervous system's a really nice meridian hack. A nice little unplug, aiming to be about just about a 30-minute session really. That's all it is today, just a nice quick one. So just finding a nice comfortable seated position. If you find your knees are quite high, use a block. Got the block under my bum. Use a block just to elevate the hips up a little bit, just helps neutralise out that pelvic tilt. Helps flatten through the back. So we don't want to be slouching, but we don't want to be puffing out the chest either. Just a nice neutral spine, shoulders above the hips. And just release, generally yin, nice grounding energy, palms face down. You can do mudras if you wish. I'll probably do a chin mudra, index finger and thumb tip together. Just some nice energetic seal through the body. Just helps balance out mental activity. Closing the eyes down, nice engagement through the spine, crown of the head's gently reaching up. And just allowing the shoulders to be heavy. Softening the belly. Just allowing a little bit of a Buddha belly, it's fine. Taking a moment just to rest into the space. Settling into your body. Just taking a nice inhale in through the nose. Quick or slow, it's up to you. Don't mind, just expand the lungs to capacity. A nice stretch through the body. And in your own time, just a nice sigh out through the mouth. Just release any tension from the brain. Have a nice deep inhale in through the nose. Again, just expanding your lungs to your capacity. And in your own time, sighing out through the mouth. Just releasing any emotional tension. One more nice deep inhale in through the nose. Again, nice expanse. Explore where the breath moves to in the body. And a nice releasing sigh. Out through the mouth, just releasing any physical tension. And just surrendering control of the breath. Just allowing the body to regulate. Just allowing the awareness just to soften into the sensations. Through the nostrils. Down into the throat, moving down into the chest, into the belly. Just following that gentle ebb and flow in and out of the body. Taking the awareness up to the crown of the head. Just checking in with the sensation in the body now. Just filtering down over the scalp, over the skin, through the skin down into the muscle, any tension that we're holding, any areas of softness. Nice and relaxed tissue. Just checking in through the face, through the jaw. Down through the neck and the shoulders. Just observing where the sensations change, how they change. Is it start-stop? Is it gentle merge? Do they overlap? Just checking in with points of contact through the body. The varying pressures in points of contact. And what you're feeling at those points of contact. Is it just sensation in the skin? Does it move through the skin into the muscle? Is it pressure? Is it warmth? Is it coolness? Some areas, does it go all the way down into the bone? Can you feel the pulse in some areas? A gentle hum or vibration of the energy in the body. Bringing the hands to heart center. Gently lowering the chin down to the chest. Namaste. Welcome. So, the first pose we're going to do is a toe stretch. So there's a few different options here. Full expression, shoulders down through the hips, down into the toes. Okay, this is as deep as we can go into the pose. We want to soften into the feet. This is as deep. This is going to be way too much for some people. You can shift the weight forward onto your hands, for example. You can even, lean forward quite a bit and shift the weight back. Maybe that you press in here. A little bit of energy in the shoulders here, just putting a little bit of pressure into the feet maybe if it's needed. But just listen to your body, okay? Don't overdo, don't underdo. It's okay to move in these poses, but we don't want to go, oh, this hurts, oh, that's all right. Oh, this hurts, oh, that's all right. So we don't want to pulse in and out of the pose. We want to get into a position, we want to soften into that position and remain soft in that position for as long as possible. If then we need to shift and wait, and then we move the weight forward, take the weight out of the toes, but just hold and soften into the feet here. Don't instantly go back a little bit deeper, just try and hold and soften, okay? So it's okay to move, it's okay to flex and move. What we want to do with the toe stretch is, rather than just dumping all the weight into the big toes, which is what quite a lot of people do, we want to spread the weight through as many toes as possible. Okay, there's a couple of ways, because if you do this, then your heels are going to fall out to the side. You're going to be engaging all sorts of muscles. You may end up dumping all the weight into the little toes. So, an option, you can get a strap, obviously pre-set up, but you can get a strap that just supports the heels, so you can relax into the heels, you can relax into the legs then, and then you've got yourself a position here. Okay, so that's one option. It's my preferred option, to be fair. Another option is using a block. This is also good if it's too tight on your knees as well, because being here can be really tight on your knees. You can use a block or a couple of blocks or a pillow, Just create a little bit of space in your knees here, okay? But this also stops the heels from falling out to the sides. So that's an option as well. If it's too much on the pressure underneath the knees, there's so much, you can simply roll up the mat, create a little bit more padding under the knees. It's not a problem, okay? So there are our options. Getting into position, finding what works for you. So fanning through the toes, getting as much spread through the toes as possible. Deep as possible, shoulders down through the hips into the toes. Relax the neck. So we're activating the bladder meridian line down the back of the neck here, perfectly fine. Softening the neck, the timer started. Just relax the hands, soften the neck. You don't need any control in the breath, just release control of the breath, let the body regulate. So 6 lower body meridian lines. You've got 3 that run from the head down into the feet, 3 that run from the feet back up into the head. That's the stomach meridian line, bladder meridian line, gallbladder meridian line, liver meridian line, kidney meridian line, and spleen meridian line. Okay, they're the lower body meridian lines. They all run down through the feet, into the toes, the ankles, down through the legs. So any sensation through the toes, the feet, shins, knees, up through the calves, you're going to be activating one or more of these meridian channels. Just soften. Awareness into the body. Coming up to 60 seconds to go. Just observing any contraction in the body, just releasing that contraction. You can go deeper into the pose, you can ease off, you can stay exactly where you are. Very direct, but very beneficial. Well done. Nice and gently, shifting the weight forward, moving any props. Just release the feet. It might be that you move into the ankles first, rather than getting into the toes. Yin Yoga is very direct. Like Yang practices, you feel great at the time, but then maybe ache the day after, you get those DOMs. Yin Yoga is the opposite way around. You ache in the pose after the pose, but then after that you freshen up, feel revigorated, reinvigorated. Maybe introducing a little bit of a wiggle into the toes, if it feels good. And then finding your way down onto your back. Nice little rebound pose here. Just a chance for the body to adjust and settle. And space between the feet, little space between the hands and the body. Maybe you observe the sensations as they settle out in the feet and the legs. Maybe you just set the mind free, finding a little space between thoughts and sensation. Bringing the awareness back to the body. Nice and gently, rolling off to the left hand side. Finding your way up. And we're going to come up onto hands and knees here. So, option 1, fingers spread nice and wide, fingers pointing forward off the top of the mat. Okay. Option 2, if it's available on your shoulders and wrists, fingertips pointing back towards the knees. Okay, you might want to bring the knees in a little bit here. If your fingers are pointing forward, to go deeper into the pose, you shift the weight forward. Okay, maybe feeling a stretch up the back of the forearm here. Compression into the wrist, into the back of the hand, but a stretch through the palm, into the fingers. If you flip the hands around, if that's available, it's no good out to the side, forward or backwards. Fingertips pointing backwards, we want to shift the weight back towards the back of the mat. Doesn't matter if the palm of the hand pulls off the floor. Things to look out for is pressing into the floor, so the shoulders are lifting up, rounding into the back, engaging the core. We want the body to be heavy, so relax the belly, relax the shoulders, relax the neck. Let everything just angle towards the floor, let it drop, let it hang, let it be. Okay? So it doesn't matter, fingers forward, lean the weight forward to intensify the pose. If you need to ease off, shift the weight back. If the fingers are pointing backwards, you lean back to intensify, you lean forward to ease off. Okay? Time is just about to start. Softening the shoulders, let the belly relax towards the floor, relax the neck. So just like the toe stretch, getting into all 6 lower body meridian lines, this wrist stretch, hand stretch, forearm stretch. Gets into all 6 upper body meridian lines, which run in and out of. We've got 3 running into the hands, 3 running out of the hands. It's a very direct pose, very beneficial. All the upper body meridian lines, the hippie meridian channels, it's all love and integrity and peace and happiness and joy, emotional stability, creativity. When they're in balance, so just softening the body, scanning the body. Releasing resistance mentally and physically. Coming up, 60 seconds to go. Just because you've been in a pose for a couple of minutes doesn't mean you can't release and relax and soften more. Soften into any tension. Use that tension as a point of focus for the mind to release thoughts and attachment to thoughts. Just training the mind and the body to release and surrender. Gently. If the fingers are pointing backwards, shift the weight forward, vice versa. If the fingers are forward, shift the weight back to release. Peel the hands away from the floor nice and gently. It may be that you just bring a little bit of movement into the fingers to start off with. Just feel that energy shifting. Nourishment, the enzymes from the blood, nutrients from the blood into that deeper tissue. That muscle's been opened up, the fascia's been fed and hydrated, and maybe just gently introducing a little bit of movement into the wrists, not forgetting your thumbs here. Again, it's intuitive to you. You may do circles, you may flex, or point, flex and point. Just a movement, really, just releasing energy from the hands. And when you're ready, nice and gently finding your way onto your back. Rolling down and just releasing, arms down the side of the body. Little space between the feet. Little space between the hands and the body. Closing the eyes down. Maybe the awareness goes into the body as it settles. Maybe you just let your little drop of consciousness just return to the vast ocean of consciousness. Bringing the awareness back to the body. From here, we're going to roll onto the left hand side again. Always rolling or starting with the left in yin. The yin side of the body is the left side, the feminine side. We want to bring the knees up in line with the hips. So a rough right angle at the hips, a rough right angle at the knees. Again, this is just a position to get into to start off with. Adjust my timer. Left arm goes out in front of that left shoulder, and then shuffle that left shoulder forward to encourage a twist through the upper body. Okay, aiming to get our shoulders towards the floor. Maybe that the knees fall apart, Really nice if you've got a bolster or something weighted, a pet maybe, or a small child, you can just drape over your leg. But bolster, pillows, cushions, something like that, just on the outside of the knee, really encourages a stretch across that right hip. And then that right arm rolls out to the side. Doesn't matter if it's on the floor, doesn't matter if it's floating. Again, you can put blocks underneath the elbow. It's better to do it on the upper arm, elbow area, so you're not bending in, you're encouraging that opening through that bicep and down through the elbow. Okay. Relax the neck. Soften into the hips, soften into the shoulders. And closing the eyes down just helps take the awareness into the body and the sensations. Exploring epicenters of tension, of greater sensation. Softening into those areas. Allowing the awareness to soften and explore where that sensation moves to and from. Again, we might have a stretch through the arms. We might feel compression into the shoulders. Let's work in the upper body meridian lines again, whether it be through the biceps or the triceps. Maybe into the pectorals, into the chest. Maybe the shoulder blades in the back, the upper back. Maybe there's sensation in the neck. Getting into the upper body meridian lines through these arms, the chest and the upper back, into the neck as well with some. All the meridian channels are associated with organs in the body, in the trunk of the body. As I mentioned, the lower body meridian lines, spleen, liver, kidney, gallbladder, bladder, stomach. And with this rotation through the trunk of the body, just applying a little bit of pressure through twist, through compression, reshaping of these organs. Applies a little bit of piezoelectrical mechanical pressure, which generates piezoelectrical charge into the fascia, which is the meridian channel. The diaphragm presses against the lungs, reshapes the lungs. The upper body meridian lines along with the heart, pericardium, the triple burner, and the small and large intestine meridian channels, all upper body. So whether it be superficial stretch through the skin and the muscles and the fascia in those areas, or direct contact with the organs and that piezoelectrical stimulation into the fascia, activating the meridian channels and the fascia network, the liquid crystalline network throughout the body to get all 12 in this reclined twist. Nice and gently bring the right arm up and over just to release the twist from the back, so we're all the way onto the left side. If you've got any props on the legs, just remove. If you've got any props, as you roll onto the back, you might want to move the arm props around to the left side. And gently, maybe a little bit of a shifty through the body before rolling on. I'll spin around this way. Rolling on to the right side. all the way onto the right side. So that right arm goes out in front of the right shoulder. Knees up in line with the hips. Right angle, rough right angle, hips and knees here. If you're using a block or bolster or small pet on the outside of the knees, go for it. Please don't harm any animals in the making of this practice. Shuffle that right shoulder forward. Again, it just encourages a twist through the upper body. The left arm off to the side. Explore the difference between the left and the right. Maybe one side's tighter than the other. Maybe it feels a little bit more zingy because you've done a 180 twist through the torso. But just relaxing the neck, relaxing the shoulders. Again, maybe supporting underneath that left arm. Aiming to get the arms in a line. So that you feel that stretch and activation into the left shoulder. Maybe moving into that left pectoral, down the left bicep, elbow forward. Maybe it's all about that right hip, down the left thigh, left hip. Moving up through the left side of the body. Again, a nice twist through the skin, through the belly, through the back, through the sides. Intercostal muscles being pinched and twisted. Such a beautiful stretch, such a beautiful release. Really good activation into the vagal nervous system. That piezoelectrical charge around the organs activates the vagal nervous system, which is in contact with all but the adrenal glands in the body, and the organs in the body. Sends information back up the brainstem, releasing oxytocin and serotonin into the brain. Which activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which slows down the heart rate, slows down the breath. And drops us into our rest and digest, our healing state. It's the only time the body heals when it's in the parasympathetic nervous system. Physically, energetically and mentally, restoring and recovering. Soften your body, soften your mind. Nice and gently. Bringing that left arm up and over. Again, just to release that twist from the back, it should feel really nice. Neutralizing the spine. Releasing any props from the legs. Rolling onto your back. I'll give you the choice. It may be nice to stretch tips of fingers all the way down to the tips of the toes. Maybe it feels nice to curl up into a ball and round the back. So depending on what's been more activated in that last pose, might depend on how you release. Just releasing. Feet down to the end of the mat. Arms down the side of the body. Just closing your eyes down. Adjust the hips. Adjust the shoulders. Allow the body to be nice and heavy. As the body softens and melts away down through the floor, just allow your mind to go. Allow your thoughts to simply evaporate. Bring the awareness back to the body. Keep the nice deep inhaling through the nose. Let's release inside, out through the mouth. And the toes a nice gentle wiggle. In the the fingers a nice gentle wiggle. And just allowing the head to roll over to the left. Nice and gently bringing it back to centre. And off over to the right. As it comes back to the middle, take a nice inhale. Stretch the arms up overhead, taking a nice long stretch. Tips of the fingers all the way down to the tips of the toes. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Place the right hand on the belly. Bring the right knee in towards the body as you roll over to the left hand side. Just keeping the eyes closed. Coming up to a comfortable seated position. Hands to heart center. Dhanyavad, which is thank you, and namaste.